Hey, hello everyone. This is Hitanshu Malhotra and welcome to Coding Adda. So, the agenda of this tutorial is to go with AWS FIS service, that is Fault Injection Service, and we'll understand about this service and we'll go with some practical demonstration. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead, right? So, before jumping into AWS FIS, let's understand what is this chaos engineering, right? So, chaos engineering is basically a process of testing distributing distributed computing system to ensure that it can withstand with unexpected disruption. So basically, let's take an example. We have one distributed system, or maybe with let's take an example of some system, right? And in chaos engineering, we actually try to deliberately put some unexpected conditions onto that system, and then we'll see like how that system is actually behaving under that circumstances, right? Whether that application will withstand with that particular condition, or what is exact behavior of that application, right? So this is what chaos engineering is, right? So basically chaos engineering help us to discover any loopholes in our applications, so that system may need some additional monitoring and alarming to actually see, where that's why that system is not behaving with the actual state it has to be, right? So let's go ahead and jump onto this AWS FIS. So Amazon Fault Injection Simulator is fully managed chaos service using which we can inject some fault onto AWS services, so that we can improve performance, observability and resiliency of that particular application, right? So this is the FIS tool, right? Let's go ahead. So here in this FIS service, we need to create some experiments, right? So we create some experiment, right? And in that experiment, we need to define like what all are the actions, right? What we need to do, right? And we need to define some targets. So targets are the AWS services like EC2, RDS, correct? So we can inject some faults into these services, right? And once we have that experiment template ready, then we need to actually run that experiment, and we need to monitor, and we can see the results from the CloudWatch, right? Okay, so let's quickly jump to demo. Okay, so before demo there is some prerequisite. One is I created one demo instance, right? In the EC2 section, I created one demo instance, and if you go and if I copy this address, oh, I think I already copied this. Let me run this. So you will find that this response is coming, right? So this is one of the prerequisites, because in FIS demo we're going to perform two type of injection. One is to stop this particular instance, EC2 instance, and other one is we will stop one of the ECS task. And for about how to set up ECS, I already created one of the video. You will find that link in the description of this video, right? You can go through that and you can learn about that ECS, how to create cluster and all that, right? So requisite is to create this instance, and also create one of the ECS cluster, right? And just run some service, right? So this is a container. Let me just show you. I will just show you. I mean, so here, if you see, this is a demo cluster, and there's one service and two tasks are running, right? And this is the basically a sample demo nginx container that I run onto that, right? So if you see these IP are changing, that means the request is coming from these different tasks, right? So as a part of FIS experiment, we'll try to stop one of the tasks, and we'll see the how that application is behaving, right? This is one of the thing we are going to demonstrate in this, right? And one more prerequisite, that we need to create a specific role for this FIS service. So if you see here, let me go to roles. So if I search for FIS, you will see this is the role that I created. So this is the custom policy, right? If I go and see the custom policy, this is the JSON where we define like what all services that FIS has to access, right? So this is one is like for EC2 and some are for the ECS, right? So these and all for the RDS as well, right? So this is there. So I have already put those permissions onto this file, I mean onto this GitHub repo. I'll put that link in the description. So these this is the JSON, right? And the other one is for the trust relationship, right? This one, this you have to put over here, right? And this trust relationship you have to put FIS Amazon AWS.com, right? So once you create this role, you are going to use this role in while doing your experiment, right? So let's quickly jump and create an experiment to for the EC2 first, right? FIS EC2 experiment. So as I mentioned, we need to put some action, right? EC2 stop instance, right? And let's search EC2, you will find this stop instance, right? Target remains same. So let's suppose after 1 minute we just want that to be restart that particular instance, right? And the target, and in the target let's save this, and in the targets let's edit this and search for that instance. This is a demo instance one, right? Okay, I'm selecting. So it doesn't matter like all, because there's only single instance. If you filter by some uh, tags, then there might be some more instances, and then you can in that group you can define like how many instances you want to perform, I mean you want to stop in this experiment, right? So let me just save this, right? So this save, and the IAM role and whatever role we have created, right? So just select that. So send to CloudWatch, and for CloudWatch, I already have a group that I created. Just put that group. It's very easy to create a log group and CloudWatch, right? So let's take and create experiment quickly, right? Experiment is created, right? So now we need to execute the experiment, right? So if we go, let's go back to EC2 first, because now we are performing the EC2 experiment, correct? So let's go quickly to EC2 and just see our instances running state, right? Let me run this experiment, right? So let me start, right? So now if you see, the experiment is initiating, right? So if I go, right now the instance is running because the experiment is in the running state, right? So see, it has gone because it is in the stop state. So that means now let's run the application. So eventually what happens, our application will not respond because we are directly accessing this instance, right? So that means our application is not resilient enough to for this particular unexpected condition, right? So let's suppose somehow if the instance goes down, then our application is not behaving, or it is not in their actual state, right? Because see, it's not, we will not able to connect to this, right? So this is one of the EC2 experiment. Let's move to the ECS experiment, right? So let first move to ECS. Okay, and you see if that particular experiment is, this is the experiment, right? So this is the experiment that we just, this is under running state because actually the server needs to be, so it's completed, right? So if I go and see, it is completed, right? Action was completed, correct. Now let's create a new experiment for this. So let me call this cluster. Okay, create an experiment. So code FIS ECS demo. Okay, so let me put this in the name and under the action. What I'm putting is stop task, right? So let me stop task ECS stop task. Maybe you can also do the drain of the instances. Maybe if you have 50 instances, you can, or maybe if you have 5 instances of 5 tasks, you can specify like how many you want to drain, right? This one, if you want to add multiple action and you want to specify after which action this action has to be, you can add multiple action and then you specify the ordering of that, right? So let me save this, and in this targets we can define the cluster name. Let's suppose this is a cluster, okay, and this is the service name, right? This is the demo and the service name is same, right? Okay, so this is the service name, right? So what I going to do, let's suppose first of all I'm going to do stopping one instance at a time, right, of this service, right? Put, give the condition, nothing, send to this, put the same log group, and just create the experiment and create. Okay, now let's see, this is working, right? Because we have one, let's just start the experiment. When we started the experiment, you will see, right, uh, task, like see the status of the task, right? Ideally one has to go, right? And so if you see, okay, so ideally this has to happen. This is okay. The cluster not found, okay, might be I mistakenly put some cluster code add demo cluster, right? Code code add demo cluster. Maybe I have put some wrong, or maybe I can copy the AR and so, okay, let's copy this. Go back. So this is how can you can investigate the things, right? So if I go to experiment templates and code add FIS experiment, just click on update, go to edit, and okay, sorry, went to I need to go to ECS experiment, right? So this is ECS experiment. Okay, so let's update that. Go to task, edit. Okay, so this is the cluster, right? So this is a demo cluster, and this is a service, right? So known as one, right? Just update this. Okay, update and put that update. Okay, and start the experiment. Start. That should work. Okay, let's go and see status. Okay, the task. Okay, okay. So this is under running state. So ideally, this has to go away. And one task has to go. See, this happens. Right? So one task has gone, right. still our application is working, right? Because it is serving from the same instance. That means our application is really resilient enough to handle this kind of scenario, right? So this has happened, and now if you see, so one is under, I mean, one is in stop and one is under pending, because in the ECS we mentioned that we need a two desired task, right? So that is why the one is stopped and still one is running, right? It's in pending state. S- and our application is still performing well, right? This is the basically the funda of the FIS service, to do some unexpected things and test, I mean, how our application is behaving, right? So let's give some time. So see, this is completed, and if we go and see the ECS, so it's in running state, right? So ideally 157 and IP has to change, right? So see, now that is working, right? So when one of the instance goes down, still the request is serving, right? Thank you for watching this, and do like, share, and comment, and give your thoughts, and we'll try to make more videos around AWS and the others coding stuff, right? Thank you guys. Have a nice day.